sat down with our Trey Wingo in an interview that aired during last night's Pro Bowl halftime. Cam bringing up his laptop incident in college without being asked about it on his own, hoping others could learn from his mistakes. Take a listen.
When people see me, they see the Superman, they see the dad, they see a person out there, you know, very happy to play the game that God has given them the ability to do. I'm encouraging people as well. So you can say what you want. And I'm just giving hope to the people that may have to go the junior college route, may have made a mistake in their lives, and they're trying to bounce back from them. They're looking for a person that they could say, well, Cam, you know, wasn't the perfect role model at one point of his career, but now look at him now.
Look it, I found a friend, Ryan Clark, here with us, looking clean as always. Ryan, what do you make of this, Cam bringing that up on his own?
Well, I think the good thing is he didn't necessarily bring it up as in talking about the situation or what were the specifics of what went on, but he did talk about making mistakes. And so much in this world now, when we have these superstars, stars, and different guys, they never admit their wrongs. They never admit that they've made mistakes. So what Cam is doing now, he's got himself to a point to where he is winning, to where he is behaving himself both on and off the field in a very admirable way, that he's like, you know what, now I can reach out. Now I can do different things and show kids that, hey, you may fall, you may make a mistake, but if you continue to work, if you continue to try to be your best self, which we are now seeing Cam be, it's not be somebody else or be somebody's idea of what a starting quarterback in the NFL should be. He's being Cam Newton. Ron Rivera is allowing him to be that. And now when you're authentic to you, you can be authentic to others. And so when people see Cam Newton and him dealing with some of the adversity he still is dealing with, but watching him come from where he's come from, hearing the things you've heard about him, and to now hear people, some of the people talk about the way he's come out of that, how he's leading this team. It's good for the kids who love Cam Newton, because many of those kids are going to come from adverse situations. They're going to deal with some things that don't always go their way. So to see a guy like this owning up to those mistakes, saying, you know what, now I can encourage you. I realized at one point I wasn't what you should be looking up to, but now I can. And the great thing about this is he doesn't have to be a role model. Your parents, your sisters, your siblings, your coaches, your teachers, they can be athletes. Your job isn't to be a role model. But when you know kids look up to you, when you know people are watching you, to accept that responsibility and to be accountable for your mistakes, but also the way you've come from it, I like the way he is now using his platform to be something different.
Yep, he's owning it and obviously overcoming from that adversity. A great lesson there. Skip, what were your thoughts when you heard that?
My thoughts dovetailed with Ryan's thoughts. I really liked that Cam Newton voluntarily brought this up because, as Ryan can attest, there's good news and bad news about being on the Super Bowl stage this week. Everything is fair game, and I'm pretty sure if Cam hadn't brought it up, and maybe now anyway, he will be asked about the laptop incident at Florida in his second year there. And again, fair, unfair, you're just fair game in front of the world's media gathered, obviously, out in San Francisco for this Super Bowl. So Cam got out in front of it. While a lot of athletes that we see at the Super Bowl, a lot of football players will say, hey, that's in my ancient past. I talked about it then. I don't want to talk about it now. Cam used it as a life lesson experience. And I loved it that he said, that he's hoping to give hope to people who got forced into going the junior college route because they made one silly or senseless mistake, as Cam called it at that time. This was not an end-of-the-world kind of mistake. For those who don't remember, Cam went to Florida, beat out John Brantley his freshman year to be Tim Tebow's backup quarterback, and then in his second year, still as the backup to Tebow, played in the opener against Hawaii, tore up his ankle, and had to take the dreaded medical redshirt year. And as Ryan can attest, it's tough because you're just basically in school and you can't play football. And so he wound up purchasing a stolen laptop, and he was arrested for receiving stolen property. But because he went through a pretrial diversion program, the charges were dropped. Now, he got suspended from the football team. He might have faced expulsion from the school, but he got ahead of that and just said, hey, 3 days before Tebow played Sam Bradford in Oklahoma in the championship game, I'm out. He went to Blinn Junior College in Brenham, Texas, where he found that you had to wash your own practice jersey and bring it back the next day to practice in it. He said he had some long nights, and all he did was hang in, hang on, and win the National Junior College Championship, and the rest became football history. So I like it that Cam said, hey, I wasn't a role model then, but I'm going to be now. I'm going to try to show people you can bounce back from these small mistakes that you make early in your life. So I say bravo, Cam Newton.
Well, I say the same thing, and obviously I echo both yours and Ryan's sentiments because I think it's important to recognize that this is something he's never shied away from. I mean, it's not like this is the first time he's opened up and spoken about it. Former host of this show, Kerry Champion, did a really good interview with him where she sat up there and she asked him about this stuff, and he answered it. And he answered it quite candidly and point blankly. And so when you look at it from that perspective, he's not an individual that sat up there and opened his mouth because he's about to show up on a Super Bowl, so let me speak about something that I never spoke about. He has spoken about this on numerous occasions. He doesn't appear to be one who shies away from any kind of adversity. He usually tackles it head on. And I think that's the ultimate lesson that needs to be addressed and broached. Skip Bayless, you and I are going to talk a little bit later on about the Los Angeles Clippers. Let me tell you how Cam Newton has me thinking about the Clippers. It has me thinking about Blake Griffin. Ryan, Molly, Skip, I'm in Los Angeles. I've been in Los Angeles since last Wednesday night, Thursday to be exact. I'm sorry. We go to a Clippers game. We all know the controversy that's involving Blake Griffin, who decided to punch, one of his best friends in the face because I was told, the guy told him, you know what, we're looking better without you, cracking jokes on him, and Blake Griffin just lost it, punched him in the face, not once but twice. DeAndre Jordan was right there, did nothing. Here's the deal. Blake Griffin issued an apology on Twitter. Blake Griffin was nowhere to be found when the media showed up to the Clippers game. What are you hiding for? You made a mistake. If Blake Griffin sat up there without Twitter, because I don't know who convinces these guys that Twitter's gonna get you over. Good luck with that one. What's wrong with just standing front and center? Damn, I messed up. It was a stupid thing on my part. What I really, really feel bad about is what I did to my friend. Clearly, I lost my cool. There's no excuse for it. I apologize. We're barely even talking about it. But because he didn't have the courage to do that in that fashion, not only are the Clippers considering disciplinary action, but Doc Rivers told me yesterday that they're working in concert with the NBA so the NBA and the Clippers can come to a conclusion of what the appropriate punishment will be once Blake Griffin comes back from his injury. I am saying to you, this incident happened a week ago. There was no fatality involved, although there was violence, and that should have never occurred. But the reason why this is still a story is because of how it's handled. When all you had to do was stand front and center and address it. And you look at somebody like Cam Newton. Cam Newton doesn't really run. And he doesn't really hide. And I don't want to hear about the controversy of whether his dad or him, were offered money and gifts and all of this other stuff. The fact of the matter is this. Whatever his father did or did not do, what is Cam Newton supposed to do? Talk about his father? Tell on his father? Knock his father? I wouldn't do it. You wouldn't do it. Why should he be required to do it? We've got E60 Lisa Salters did a wonderful interview with Demaryius Thomas and his mom about his mom being released from prison. Well, guess what? One of the reasons she was there for as long as she was there was because she wouldn't talk about her own mother like the police wanted her to do. I'm saying to you that all of these things, there's so much stuff that goes into it. But stories ultimately become a lesson in life in an advantageous fashion, in a beneficial fashion, when people stand front and center and say, this is what the deal is, and here's how I dealt with it, and that's that. Because people appreciate that level of courage and candor. And when you do that, it's easy to move on from, because people don't get the impression that there's more to dig for and to look for because of how you tackle the issue head on. The fact that this guy going to the Super Bowl is giving that lesson. It's not only a lesson that athletes can take home with them and learn from, whether it's me, you, or others who are older, grown folk We can learn from that too. And I applaud Cam Newton for teaching us that, because all of us need to be reminded of that at some point.
No question. Absolutely love his authenticity. And he said a mistake doesn't describe who you are as a person. And clearly, obviously, an isolated incident. He more than rebounded. And he's a success story. Look at him now, right?
Yes,
Super Bowl
ma'am.
50. Ryan, thank you so much for being
Thank you.
with us. So appreciate
Ryan, you're looking
it.
sharp today, bro.
Hey, man,
you
I'm
looking
trying.
sharp.
I just got to hold it down since you're not here.
You're looking sharp, bro. I'm very pleased. I'm very pleased today. Very pleased.
I said the same thing,
All right.
bringing his A game. All right, up next, no Blake Griffin, no problem. The Clippers blow out the Bulls.